A very good morning, all of you. Today's discussion is on the topic basic structure of the constitution, and I would love to take the case for this, and that is the Keshwanand Bharati judgment. Before starting, we should know what is the full name of this judgment. The name of this judgment is His Holiness Keshwanand Bharati Sri Padgalvaru versus State of Kerala. It was decided on 24th April 1973. The facts that we should know about this judgment is that this judgment was decided by Honorable Mr. Chief Justice Sikri at that time. It was 13 judges bench. Earlier it was 6:6 judgment, but later on it becomes 7:6 because Honorable Mr. Justice Khanna was of the view that right to property should not be included as in the basic structure of the constitution, right? First issue that was raised in this case was regarding the rules of interpretations, purposive and the mischief interpretation. The court held that while interpreting the provisions, various provisions of the constitution should be keep in consideration. Intention of the legislature should be seen. The parliamentary debates of the constituent assembly should be keep into the mind, plus goals and aspirations of the people during the time of the freedom struggle. And by these four points we conclude that constitution is first and foremost a social document. The second issue that was raised in this case was regarding what is the source of the amending power, right? When we read article 368 of the constitution, there by the 24th amendment we have added the word power, and from there we derive the source of the amending power of the constitution. The third issue that was raised in this case was that can it be said that amendment is done by the people of India, and therefore people being sovereign can bring about any change in the constitution. In this regard, respected honorable court held that people of India are political sovereign, but legal sovereignty lies with the constitution of India. Coming on to the next issue, that was what is the meaning of the word amend and its ambit and domain. The word amend means to bring the change in the particular document. How much change, from where process of change will occur, can parliament go beyond constitution? These all things were there into consideration that was taken by the court. Court crystal clearly held that constitution is a social document and ultimate aim of the constitution is the social economic revolution in the country, and for that we have to preserve a basic structure of the constitution. As court said that constitution is a solemn document and is worth worshipping. So parliament is the creation of constitution itself. So parliament will not be having the power to amend the basic structure of the constitution. Right. Now coming on to the next issue. The next issue that was in this case was, are fundamental rights amendable, that is amenable? Court held that yes, fundamental rights could be amended, but to the extent that the basic structure of the constitution is not violated, right? Now the next issue that was raised in this case was, is the doctrine of basic structure a vague doctrine? This was the biggest question that was raised in this case, and the court held that element of the basic structures are of such nature that it keeps on emerging. For example, we cannot determine right now that what all things would be included in the basic structure of the constitution. For example, if we see article 21 of the constitution, right to life, we are having various subtopics into it. For example, you are having right to life, but you are not having right to die, right? The basic structure will emerge according to the time, according to the circumstances, and according to the cases that will be facing in our near future, right? So now the coming on to the next issue, that is, does the doctrine of implied limitations apply upon the Indian constitution? Implied limitations, yes, of course this doctrine is applicable, as hidden principles of constitution act as an implied restrictions upon the powers of the state. This is what is called as the theory of the guided power. That is, for each and every single thing we won't bring the law. There are something that is implied that can't be amended, right? What we have to see the what was the main intent behind the provision of that part of a particular constitution. Coming on to the next issue, that was what is the scope of judicial review of an amendment of a constitution? Now this we have to see in two perspectives, that is procedural procedural, that is Article 368 Clause 2, and substantive. The substantive part should be in line with the basic structure of the Constitution. But if any of amongst these both dimensions does not follow the rule of the basic structure, then the judicial review could be done by the Supreme Court. Right? Now, coming on to the next question, that is, can the Parliament amend Article 368 so as to acquire an unlimited power of amendment? No. Parliament does not have the power to amend Article 368 to that extent that Parliament becomes so superior that it could do anything with the law. No. This power is not granted to the Parliament. And with this regard, Supreme Court has further held in M. Nagaraj versus Union of India 2006 Supreme Court judgment. In that, Supreme Court has again reiterated the same point, right? And even in the I.R. Coelho versus State of Tamil Nadu 2007 Supreme Court again reiterated this point. So you just see, this point is of that much importance that Supreme Court has reiterated twice, not once, even twice. Now, and even in the Navdev Singh Johar versus Union of India 2018 Supreme Court, again Supreme Court put into consideration this point. Now the next issue that was raised in this particular case was this very important issue to ponder about, is that whether 25th Amendment issue, there 25th Amendment was regarding the DPSP, whether they are not enforceable, whereas DPSP is not enforceable, but on the other hand we are seeing that fundamental rights are enforceable. So how can we say that Article 39B and C be given superior position upon Article 14 and 19? Now the point is that Article 14 and 19 are the fundamental rights, and Article 39B and C, they both are the DPSP. So there was the dispute amongst these articles, and what Supreme Court has to do, Supreme Court has made the harmonious construction. Supreme Court has explained in such a beautiful manner about the differentiation between DPSP and fundamental rights. Supreme Court said that DPSP and fundamental rights both are complementary to each other. DPSP are having the larger goals, whereas fundamental rights are the means to achieve those goals. And also Supreme Court held that fundamental rights are the positive rights, but it imposes negative duties upon the state, whereas DPSP that are of positive rights and enforce the positive duties on the state, that you have to fulfill so and so. DPSP in itself contains the characteristics of the socio-economic revolution, right? Now, and one more thing, and one more important point, that is that when the question was raised on the 25th Amendment, because Supreme Court in this particular Keshwanand Bharti judgment held that so 25th Amendment was declared not to be unconstitutional, and it is the most important question of our preliminary examination also. It is time and again asked in the Judicial Service examination and also in the various other examination. The 25th Amendment was not declared unconstitutional. So they just asked in which case it was held that. So it was held in the case of Keshwanand Bharti. Okay, and now coming on to the next question, and that question was that, is preamble the part of our constitution? This thing was also decided in the case of Keshwanand Bharti itself. Supreme Court held that preamble of the constitution will not be seen as the other preambles that are mentioned in the other acts and the bare acts. The Supreme Court held that preamble is the important tool of the interpretation of the constitution. Preamble is the part of the constitution, but the operational part is the articles read with the schedule. Preamble is the gist of the constitution. Basically, preamble contains everything about the constitution. Means preamble is like a summary of the constitution, right? So that's the part of the preamble. And and one more thing, that is, can preamble be amended? Because preamble is having the important part, so it is but obvious preamble is having the preamble contains in itself, it is implicit the basic structure of the constitution. So court held that if we have to add some positive concepts, then yes, preamble could be amended, and if we have to remove some negative concepts from it, for example, thereby a situation arises, this is an hypothetical situation that I am raising right now, so yes, it could be amended. Now coming on to this is all we were having about the Keshwanand Bharti. This is one more important point that was raised in this case. Yeah, that issue was, what is the meaning of the constituent power? This question was also raised in this case. So court held that constituent assembly derives it derivative power, whereas the question was meaning of the constituent power, right? In this case, court held that constituent assembly is deriving its power from the parliament, right? And how parliament have that power? Parliament have given that power by the constitution itself. So it is the restrictions of the constitution. That basic structure is one such material restriction, right? So it's not like that you can go and amend everything. No, that the constituent power is also specifically mentioned and was there with the constituent assembly, right? And yes, and one more issue that was raised in this case was, that is article 368 that talks about the amending power of the constitution is subservient to article 13 clause 2, and again article 13 comes under the fundamental rights. So honorable Mr. Hegde and Mukherjee justice held that harmonious construction should be done among article 368, and that is the constituent power of the parliament, which is superior to ordinary legislative making power, whereas article 13 clause 2 deals with ordinary legislating making power. So article 13 clause 2 does not control article 368 of the constitution. So means both these articles have their independent power, and we have to read these two articles harmoniously. Now, yes, this was all about this judgment. And one more important thing that we should know about this judgment is that in this judgment, Supreme Court has consolidated three more judgments. Supreme Court has consolidated, plus one more thing that is asked in the preliminary examination, that is how many the questions to ponder. I am just telling the questions to ponder about this judgment. That is that this judgment was earlier the judgment of 6:6. It becomes 7:6. How it becomes? By the view of the Honorable Justice Khanna, because he was of the view that right to property should not be should not be included in the basic structure of the constitution. Plus in the interview, the full name of this judgment is asked, plus the year of it is very important to remember the year of this judgment, plus who have delivered this judgment. This judgment was delivered by Honorable Mr. Sikri, Chief Justice. That's all. Thank you.